Hello, everyone. This week we're going to be covering Chapter 21, which focuses on creating time for organizational learning. So, start with talking about improvement blitz, also known as Kaizen blitz. So, these, by definition, are dedicated and concentrated periods of time to address a particular issue, often over the course of several days. So, this would be like, say you have some code debt or there's something fundamentally wrong with the application or the infrastructure behind it. These would be periods of time where everyone can get together and kind of knock out this issue all at once. It's highly focused, and everyone's in on the same goal instead of being separated out, to your various teams or assignments. So, as I was talking about, this is talking about institutionalizing rituals to pay down technical debt. So we need to schedule rituals that help enforce the practice of reserving dev and ops time for improvement work, not just feature work. Teams that typically don't work together combine their skills and effort to improve a chosen area, then demonstrate their improvement to the rest of the company. So that's what I was talking about. As everyone gets together, and they can focus on improving a certain area of the infrastructure, or the code, the application, and then they can show that improvement and why the company benefits from said improvement. So the goal during these blitzes is to experiment, innovate, and improve daily work. So as I was saying, you don't want to work. It's not just merely for, or it's not at all for feature work. So you don't want to be spending this time, working on something that will be, I guess, consumer facing. You don't want to work on new features, but you want to work on the background infrastructure, things of that nature. And we need to create organizational culture that and norms that lead to everyone continually finding and fixing broken strands as part of our daily work. And this is important part of improving code debt because over time, if you accumulate with code debt, you'll see stuff starts to kind of fall apart. It's really hard to expand, and it's really hard to build upon a code base that has a high amount of technical debt. One thing we also need to do is enable everyone to teach and learn. A dynamic culture of learning creates conditions so everyone can not only learn but also teach. It's important for operations and test engineers to be familiar with development techniques, rituals, and skills. So I think we all know that teaching is just as good for you, the teacher, in a learning aspect as it is for the person actually listening to you teach. By teaching, we prove to ourselves that we know what we're doing, and we can also help others. So it's important that we, as an organization, share those ideas with each other. And it's also important, for other teams within an organization to at least have some sort of knowledge on kind of what everyone else does, just so they can understand it. It doesn't have to be any kind of in-depth knowledge, but they need to have, a high-level knowledge of the whole organization as a whole. So, this is talking about sharing your experiences from DevOps conferences, and it encourages engineers to attend conferences where, a lot of times software developers, engineers, operations, they weren't really, told to go to these conferences or really, encouraged to go to these conferences. But it's important that they do and that they participate so they can give talks, and that they can ask questions, so on and so forth. And it creates a really good learning culture because, at conferences, everyone's sharing ideas, you're hearing talks, and if you're giving talks, people are learning from you, and it's mutually beneficial. We also can create internal consulting coaches to spread practices. So an example of this would be certain people within the organization that have like a high expertise on a given topic. They could hold office hours where someone can go to them, ask questions, and they can get an in-depth answer and kind of a deeper understanding. And it'd be really helpful for, say there's a guy that's really knowledgeable about the back-end services, and a tester wants to go, figure out something to do with the back end so they can improve their own testing. They can go to this teacher or coach during his office hours, and he can explain to them where they can understand, and therefore it benefits everyone because they'll be better at testing the services, and they'll just know more about the application as a whole. So in conclusion, we need to institute rituals that will help reinforce the culture that we are all lifelong learners, and that we value the improvement of daily work over daily work itself. And by having everyone help each other learn in our daily work, we outlearn the competition, helping us win the marketplace through innovation, coming up with great ideas during these blitzes. And a lot of companies have some of their most valuable projects have come from these blitzes. So it's very important to keep in mind. But yes, that about covers it. And thank you for watching.